Hi, welcome back to my channel. Didn't know what kind of video that I wanted to do today, but I feel like whenever I come across something either on the internet or on a video or anything else, I always jot it down on my notes because I just find that a helpful way to either, it might help me come up with an idea for a video, or just, you know, be something that I can look back on, or if not, then I'll just either ignore it or delete it, you know. So, little side note, not that you need to know this, but I'm going to start trying to look into the camera a bit more because I feel like I don't really do that. I always look at the viewfinder. Well, anyway, it's going to be a bit of a mishmash. I'll probably title it something where it makes sense to all of the topics I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to just get into it. It's just about general topics that I usually discuss, people, the self, life, outlooks, breakthrough ideas, that sort of thing. So I was watching this video the other day, and she was talking about how, as a highly sensitive person, you can have this idea that you am I too much type of thing idea, because people that aren't a HSP is a highly sensitive person, and those people, if someone else is not a highly sensitive person, it can be genetic, or it can be brought on by trauma that you become a highly sensitive person, and either way, you know, you can ask yourself, am I too much, either for other people or even for yourself. I literally look back, and I don't want to take too long ruminating over this, but I do feel in the past, because other people haven't been able to understand how sensitive I am, I've had to then take on that idea of am I too much, and I would ask myself, and I would do things to sidestep the fact I was actually really sensitive, and just cope with the fact people couldn't handle me as well. So I do think that could have been part of the reason where I just feel I've adopted unhealthy coping mechanisms, etc., which I don't know if it's something anyone else can relate to as well. I don't just say this for my own benefit. It's therapeutic for me, but I hope this is something that anyone else can relate to as well. So dreams, this isn't something else completely, but another note that I've jotted down: dreams aren't always an antidote to a problem, and you can find that a dream can be you can have a dream, right? I'm not saying don't go for your aspirations, learn from your inner self and what feels good to you, and, you know, go towards what you're striving for. Not at all, that's a great thing, but I do feel certain goals can be unrealistic and unattainable, and you might not necessarily be able to cope with that dream, and you could have a dream achieved, for example. Not to say that goal getting isn't a great thing. Oh, I think this was something else. Sorry, I've confused myself a bit there, but I'm not saying it's bad to dream, not at all. I think it's a great thing, but I think it's worth thinking out the reasons for wanting it. If you're not sure that it's right, to go through reasons why you think that's a good plan for you, and just making sure you're measuring out what looking into yourself and making sure it's the healthiest thing, not the healthiest thing, but just making sure you're aware of why you're doing it and it's not some sort of coping mechanism, if that makes any sense. So there we go. This was another idea, but kind of along the similar vein, which is that I feel if someone is viewed either by society or by any group of people, really, different groups of people have a lot of different ideologies and lots of different views that can be thrust upon others, projected upon others, if that makes any sense. If you are a certain person, I hope you're still with me, and you basically might have the image of an image perfect person, or you might have seemingly a lot of achievements, or you might have a seemingly lot of friends, you might have seemingly a good social status, seemingly a good family, seemingly a good educational ability, seemingly good hobbies and talents, and you could have a lot of these things, and if you're seen by other people would then project upon that person, why aren't you feeling amazing because you've got all this stuff? But that person could have a lot of issues that you just don't know about, and I think this is the problem with ideology that lots of people the reason why it's a sin in the Bible, because like the fact is people all have different set of beliefs, and if one person's belief is that another person is perfect, you aren't gonna, or not perfect, but you have this idea of this other person which isn't true for a start. But once you can really make that person's life really, you can have effects on that person's life if you start to sort of like interact with them in the wrong way, if that makes sense, which could be detrimental to either one of you, probably both. So there we go. Because you can't know every facet of another person's life and past. You can know what they tell you, and you can know what you can sort of, you know, come to an educational guess about, but there's probably a lot of things that are not seen in the light of day, and also a lot of things that could potentially fabricated, or some things that are just, you know, you always put your best self first when you first meet another person anyway. I'm not saying like all relationships are bad and you could never, you know, romanticize any sort of situation. I'd be careful about romanticizing. As someone that's romanticized a lot in the past as a coping strategy, it's not always the healthiest thing in an excessive amount, so I would just be a bit careful about how much you romanticize. I think I've made my point, just in that you can't expect of another person your expectations, if that makes sense. And I was watching an Elevation Church video. It's not going to be hugely religious or godly in this video. I'm not religious, I believe in God, I don't like the church, but there we go. So I'm not saying I don't like the church, but I don't. Anyway, so I was watching an Elevation Church video, and they spoke about how in the Our Father prayer, there's this line that says, give us this day our daily bread. And it basically was describing how a lot of people live in the past or the future. Not to say it's not good to process emotions that have been repressed, etc. It's not good to plan for the future, not at all. But if you're living consistently in that time, you're wasting sometimes God's. It can be seen, obviously, from a human standpoint. I'm not saying God doesn't have a plan, but what this preacher was trying to put forward was that sometimes people can like waste a lot of their lives worrying about the past or the future, where really God gives us energy, like give us this day our daily bread, and it's like taking each day at a time and like not over stressing about like that sort of thing. Another thing kind of more related to me, but it's like I feel like I think it's okay to do these like videos where everything's sort of in a random like format, as long as it's entertaining to watch and has some sort of value. I don't like to do them often, but this was just a bit of a like, I didn't really know what kind of video to do anyway, so it kind of made sense to do this kind of a video. But I've spoken recently, not very much though, about shadow work, which I'm trying to integrate, because they do say as a whole person you have to integrate all of the sides of yourself, and I'm obviously on that path, as many other people are, I'm sure, in their self-development, trying to just integrate different sides of me that I innately reject, because they do say that about the ego, where either the ego does not want to be seen, as in you might be a certain type of person but you might not want to accept that side of yourself, or you may want to completely dissolve a side of yourself which is shown in your ego. That your ego is not yourself, but at the same time we are very complex beings, and obviously in order to navigate life we develop an ego so we can survive and navigate the things we need to navigate. So I'm just trying to integrate sides of myself that my ego has rejected, my body and myself have rejected, through various ideology, I don't know, social pressure, coping strategies that have led to me abandoning a certain side of myself, childhood trauma, childhood neglect, that sort of stuff life does. But I'm trying really hard to work on, not really hard, but I'm slowly, I think you can't push these kind of things, really important not to push these things, but I think, good morning. So I think not pushing that is important. But yeah, shadow work, I'm going to start sort of, I've got in the back of my mind sometimes that I want to sort of start to do. It's not about pushing. So anyway, another video I watched, these are just like loads of different videos where I hear these amazing like droppets, nuggets of wisdom, and I just write them down. So this woman lives in the sticks somewhere, and she was talking about how embracing your personality even when you don't belong, when you feel like you don't belong, because this is just a thing. I feel like societally that originates obviously from the sense of society that we all have, and we all have to live and you know, coexist with each other without, you know, starting wars and things as much as we can. But I think there's a sense of, which is good, that comes with all that. It allows you to, you know, be able to coexist with other people where you don't get too stuck in your own head. Lockdown has shown for a fact that we do need that sort of social interaction in order to function properly, because I do feel like lockdown has put a lot of people in their own heads. But anyway, we've moved away hopefully from lockdown in England at least. Touch wood. Hopefully that's wood, that's not even wood. I feel really bad now, but I've literally just put England into third lockdown. Let's literally not. Is this wood? Is this wood? But I think that's wood. Is it cardboard? I don't know. Let's find some wood. I've touched some wood, so it's okay. All that stuff aside, I think that I'm not even superstitious, to be fair. Embracing your personality when you feel like you don't belong, like it could have been in childhood, parents that made you feel a certain way, even if they didn't mean to, or if they did, you don't know. But it's like, all I have noticed about parents is they often mean the best for you, even if it comes out in very strange ways. So embracing a side of your personality when you feel like you don't belong, because this can go, as I said, with any type of area. Social media is a place where I think people are very free, which is a fantastic thing. Like, you know, I wouldn't have spoken, I would speak to my friends like this, but like you wouldn't speak like there's not a lot of areas in life, because we live in, we've been socialised to go to school, a lot of places, you don't have that freedom of thought and freedom of speech, which does come with the internet, which is one of the glories of the internet. I do love it, and you would just really be able to, you know, get a lot of information that you wouldn't be able to get from school, for example, even within a friendship group where you do have freedom of speech, or like more so than in a classroom. But yeah, when you feel like you don't belong, I think it's just so, from a sense of self and inner validation and inner work and inner, like, you know, for me it's knowing that Jesus dwells within, or the Holy Spirit and is within us, all of us, I believe, and that, like, you know, Jesus, we were made in God's image, for example, so he made us how we are, and regardless, and nothing will take away God's plan for us. Nothing in the world will get rid of his plan for us. So there we go. I just think it's important to, obviously with relationships it's going to be about navigating. I might do a part 2 because I think this is going to go on for longer than I thought, but I think in relationships it's important to navigate situations that are not for you, to move through life and allow people to be let go of if they're not part of your path anymore. But I think that will generally happen naturally. Sometimes you might not, it depends how you see naturally happening, I don't know. So, and I think it's just about knowing, as the woman put it, knowing your own heart and not adhering to society, because it even says in the Bible, I love how, and I like to relate these kind of nuggets of wisdom to Bible verses, which is that it says in the Bible, I love how I quote the Bible now, it means that I've been doing, my Bible study has been paying off. I call it Bible study, it's literally just been watching Evolution Church and you know, typing in Bible verses about so and so. It says in the Bible, do not conform to society, the pressure of society, or do not conform to the world, but be transformed by God. For example, that's not the exact quote, but it's literally along those lines. So yeah, don't, like, you know, adhere to the norms of life, because the world's always going to fail you. God is always going to help you. You know, God is the fountain of all life, and it's literally a fallacy, and it's untrue to think that someone else is going to be that for you. Not to say that friends, there's this thing though I will say in on Elevation Church, which I watched recently, called God giving someone an Abishai, and I hope I'm saying that right. I think, yeah, it is how he said it, which is that when God gives you a person in life to look after you, so you might, I'm a big believer of, like, always pray and, like, you know, give God everything, even in the times of badness, but God can give you in human form a person that that will be like looking out for you, and you know, not be you know, will look out for you and not be someone like, you know, got bad people come into, you know, people that aren't supposed to be for you are fine, also come into your life, but people that are good for you also do come into your life to help you, even to help people learn. And I think there's this phrase of people are a lesson, blessing, or a lesson, a blessing, or a lifetime, which makes people think if they are a lesson, they shouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean? You should only be looking for blessings, but then we would never learn or grow if we never had any lessons. So obviously, as you know, the small human, the vessels that we are, we cannot understand fully life ever, but I just feel like coming back to these ideas helped me get through my life a bit better. Not that I just ponder these ideas consistently, even though it may come across that way obviously when I make these videos, but obviously lockdown gives you a lot of time to think, so there we go. Yes, I'm going to pause it there because I feel like this could go on for a long time if I don't break this into two. So yeah, thank you for listening. I will do a part 2 now. Thank you, bye.